Mike DeVille, and today we are talking about Invincible, episode 1 to 3. If you're new here, I do all sorts of geek media. I'm trying to get into other forms of geek media right now. I'm talking a lot of superheroes, but if you like geek media in general and you want to hear my thoughts on all types of geek media, please hit that subscribe button and that bell button so you never miss a video. So it's here, Invincible from Amazon, and I gotta tell you, I'm a person who read the comic book. I really enjoyed the comic book. For a lot of people, it's in their top 5 of comic books of all time and everything. And you're getting to see some obvious changes. If you're a fan of the comic book, you're gonna notice that there are some obvious changes in the show. Some stuff is a little bit faster paced in the show than it is in the comics, and I'm guessing that's for a particular reason, because in the comic books you kind of get not a slow grind. It's not a super slow grind, but it is kind of a slower grind in the show. And then you get that whole plot twist and you're just like, huh? Yeah, wait, huh? Huh? But that being said, the show is hitting those emotional story beats, and it's going to go into that direction where it's just like, okay, okay. I still feel like when they get to the part that they're gonna get to, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but when they get there, you're still gonna feel that whole gut punch, because this thing does punch you in the gut very, very hard, very, very early on. And you're just like, oh boy, they did it that way. I will say they did something, for me personally, the way that they did it in the book versus the way they did it in the show. I thought it was slightly better in the show, just a little bit. Not by much, just a tiny bit. So there's that going for the show. And they capture the spirit of the comic. They capture the joy of the comic. They capture the funny, the comedy of the comic. They capture that really well in these 3 episodes that I've seen. Now, Mark Grayson, pretty cool dude. No relation to Dick Grayson. No. Mark Grayson, really cool guy. And he's an average kid. He's just existing in the universe. He's just a geek that likes comic books and everything and all of that stuff. And he's got this complex of wanting to be a superhero, which is very, very interesting when you delve into it. And when you see him step out for the first time, yeah, it becomes a situation he did not expect, and I did like the way they handle that aspect in the show. He's also got one of the best wingmen I have ever seen. This wingman is dope. This wingman does reconnaissance. His superhero name, his best friend superhero name should be the wingman, because he's got superpowers when it comes to wingmaning stuff. There's some ethnic changes or whatever from the original source material, which for me personally, I don't like stuff like that, simply because I like original ideas, but it mostly pertains to superheroes and main characters for me personally. So the changes they made in this show, I'm fine with them. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's I don't think it was necessary, but I understand what they're going for, and it's cool. I'm not too fussed about that. Although some people may be, but who cares? If the creator says it's all is love and fair and war, and it's fair game to do what they're doing in the animated show, Mazel tov. It just means that if you really got a problem with it, you should probably just read the comic books. Again, this channel if you've been here long enough, and you know my stance on these certain things, but you can only beat a dead horse for so long, and I still enjoyed the episodes. I love the mom in this. The mom in this is super dope. Again, I love the mom in the comic book, and here they are taking that spirit of the mom, and they are just, she has seen it all. She's not fussed. She doing her own thing, so she's not too reliant on that whole Superman gag thing going on with Omni-Man. That's the Superman of this universe. And that's going on with Omni-Man. She's not too fussed about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, okay, he's flying around and fighting things. He'll be back. It's just another Tuesday. It's just another Tuesday. If you get that reference, you're freaking awesome. In these 3 episodes, we also get introduced to the Teen Team. So the Teen Team is technically the Teen Titans. of this universe or whatever. There's a whole lot of analogs going on in this universe. You've got the whole the what's this? The Guardian. I was about to say the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oops. The Global Guardians. All of these names intertwined and mixed together. The Global Guardians, right? It's the Justice League and all of that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, you getting those analogs to that. Of course, you can see the parallels, but it's not parodies or ripoffs, which is kind of interesting. Getting back to the team, we've got Adam Eve, we've got Rex Explode, we've got Robot, and we've got Duplicate. With the team, Adam Eve she's badass. Like, she was badass in the comic book, she's badass in this. I love what they're doing with her character. She's really dope. Rex Explode. First off, I don't know if he is super tan or if he is black. I'm not sure. Like, it is so hard to tell. Cause I mean, I'm looking at him and I'm like, is that a spray tan? You visit Donald Trump's spray shop? I mean, I'm just saying that is either this brother is black or that is some very strong spray on tan. So with the Rex Explode, he is in the comics and in this show, he's going to be that character that kind of gets on your nerves. So prepare for that. You've seen it in the trailer. He's always throwing off these witty one-liners and all of that stuff. And then, you get to Robot. Robot is this leader. He's kind of cold and calculated, but at the same time, he's emotional. It's a very, very weird tug of war going on with him a little bit. You get to see it throughout these episodes, which I thought they captured really well. And then, yeah, Duplicate's doing her thing as well. I like what Duplicate is doing out there. And yeah, it's the team dynamic is pretty rad in this. It's pretty rad in this. Of course, there is things that go on that go sideways where you're just like, oh, but still makes for a very, very cool dynamic. I mentioned him earlier, Omni-Man. So Omni-Man, you get to see Omni-Man is serious about what he does, and Omni-Man is super, super dope with the powers and everything and how he's going on. He's definitely a little bit more different from the comics. So again, if you read the comic, you will notice there is like huge deviation, or not huge deviations, but noticeable deviations from the source material, especially when it comes to Omni-Man and his characterization, because for the most part it's the same, but there is like slight differences where you're just going to be like, okay. I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, the crew from Double Toasted, they talked about this as well. You should go check them out. Yeah, I'll put a link to their review as well. Just go check them out. It's a really good review. But anyway, they did speak about that because the show lacks the same kind of impact that the book does, because they're quickening the pace of the show. And the way that they explain it, or the way that they explain it, and it totally makes sense. It's that thing of, it's not, yeah, it's that thing of, it does start out very family friendly, family orientated, regular by the numbers, hopeful superhero stories, and then it flips on its head, like ridiculously so. So I'm guessing to stay away off the children and to not get those letters that they're obviously gonna get from parents and everything. They just said, look, we gonna introduce the rough stuff immediately. So yeah, that's why you'll see slight differences with Omni-Man, which I'm fine with also. J.K. Simmons, perfect casting for that voice, by the way. Speaking of which, I actually liked everybody in this, even Steve Yeun killed it. So that the voice casting is really good in this. I liked everybody for the most part. No, for all the parts. Yeah, even the side characters. They're really cool. And even they have like little side stories with very, very minor characters that will not impact the plot, and you're just like, oh, that was so touching. The villains in this are pretty fun. I like the villains in this. I like most of the villains, and they have pretty much fun banter between themselves or whatever. There's two main villains so far, but they're having the banter between each other, and I like that. Some of the villains are generic, but it's still fun. generic is hard to outright sometimes because sometimes you go so crazy it doesn't make sense. Other times you want to go in such another opposite direction that the characters have no impact. So I mean, it's all about your execution. If your villains are generic, make sure they're entertaining. And these villains, I like them. They were entertaining. But the end of episode 3. The end of episode 3 is just is why this is what I'm talking about, man. I feel like Robert Kirkman, as much as this show is quickening the pace of certain things, because I have slight critiques of the comic book, yes. For those who are the comic book fans, I said it. Yes, I have slight critiques of the comic book. But like I think Robert Kirkman also saw some stuff in the comic book that he did, and he wanted to make slight alterations to this. And he's definitely taking a route where if they stick hardcore to the books, or if they stick hardcore to the spirit of the books, which is what they're obviously gonna do, this ending feeds into other things that we're gonna see throughout this series. Hopefully, if we get a chance, because I think it's 8 episodes, and you're just like, that is one way to end a book. Friggin' hell! And this was one way to end an episode because I'm just like, this is why MCA? Why I do that? Anyway, love these 3 episodes. I was hooked. It was super dope, and the animation, the fight, everything is crisp and everything. They really did they did their thing with this whole 3 episode thing that they got going on here. Again, of course, if you've read the comic and if you're a huge fan of the comic, you will notice the big differences, and there's going to be slight changes in dialogue that will disappoint comic book fans. But I think this is striking a balance between getting in the new crowd and keeping in the crowd that was excited for this to come. I think it's a happy medium between the two, and I'm excited to see more. But yeah, be warned, very, 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 very gory. Whew, very gory. It's a very, very gory story. Bars. What do you think, Meisterville? Are you watching Invincible? Let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, if you like this video, I want to say thank you for getting to this point in the video. You are spectacular. But if you really like this video, I got another one up here, I got a playlist down there, and I got an icon you can click on to subscribe. Remember to ring the bell if you do subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video. Master Man's gotta be out. Peace.